Boneworks is a VR game released in 2019 which quickly became incredibly popular, introducing complex sandbox mechanics into a previously primitive medium. It had a hugely complex story and rivaled the other titan of the industry, VR Chat, where people are extremely normal. But most don't know that it's actually a sequel, and its predecessor is another, this time, horror-focused VR game, Duck Season. Including a dog and a little boy, you play as a child who just got gifted a copy of the new retro game, Duck Season. The main gameplay loop revolves around you playing the game within the VR game. Playing it, with each level you complete, things start taking a strange turn, both in the real world and in the game. After a while, you stop being able to tell between what's real and what's just in Duck Season, and the environments themselves are lit with numerous interactable objects that push these boundaries of reality even further. At points you feel in control, just to be humbled by a bird going Mach 5 towards your dome. Then you remember, it's all just a game, and all the spooky stuff is in your headset. Duck Season is a VR game released in 2017 based on the 1984 game, Duck Hunt. Gameplay-wise, they both have very similar premises. You play as a hunter trying to get the most amount of points from shooting ducks, whilst your trusty dog heckles you with side hooks.
Fat fuck.
Despite that, the mechanics differ slightly between the titles, and this is mostly due to the VR element. In the classic NES game, you used a zapper light gun to take down the ducks, taking full advantage of the CRT screen. However, in the 2017 VR title, you are thrown into a really atmospheric scene where you're forced to manually reload and optimize your shooting, which sure sounds fun, but due to the shoddy tracking, it results in situations where you're overwhelmed and you're unable to reload.
What?
Now, as far as Duck Hunt and the in-game Duck Season equivalent goes, this is as deep as the comparison gets. But what Stress Level 0 does different is adapt this game into a terrifying VR experience, expanding both on the NES Classic and creating a multi-game lore spanning decades. Even so, after almost 9 years, I think it's about time we talk about the very first VR horror game, Duck Season. 2017 was a weird year for games, and when I mean weird, I mean insane. Like, look at this. All of these games were released in 2017. Starting the year, we have peak bug slop, and nearing the end, we get abysmal dogshit. Releasing a game during this market was not ideal, and Duck Season's popularity is a perfect example of this effect. It's more of a if you know type game. And despite its underwhelming recognition, its impact on the VR market can be seen even today, with Steam listing 9,000 playable VR games in the wake of its release. For instance, Duck Season's interactive environments and horrifying gameplay gave way for games like Half-Life Alyx and Help Wanted. Anything you see, you can most likely pick up, giving deeper context to this game's very convoluted lore. So it makes you wonder, if it's so small in comparison to the other games, what makes it so special? Well, to answer that, we must look at the game. With a short 2-hour runtime, you play as a child with one goal in mind: beat the game before the day ends. But like the store page says, it slowly becomes apparent that all is not right with Duck Season. And yeah, pretty apparent. But let's start at the beginning. Before you even start the game, it's evident that something's off. You're in a large studio room and in front of you lies a stage as the introductory story is laid out to you. It's off-putting, almost preachy. Nonetheless, you're given no breathing room as you're forced into the kid's POV. June 20th, 1988. Saying hi to Mum. Hi. You take in your newly found surroundings. It's nice, but I'm not a family man for, reasons. So, you start level 1. Seemingly unprepared, you see the dog quickly putting his cigarette out. Again, it's strange, but it's the 80s, so things aren't as polished. Raising your gun, loading the weapon feels natural, and shooting the ducks is easy enough. Again, like I said, it feels natural. And as quickly as it started, it's over. Good job.
Congratulations.
Done and dusted. Now able to explore again, you can finally take advantage of this game's interactables and try to learn something about your character. Firstly, the most evident thing are the numerous VHS tapes scattered around on the floor. Playing them, you'll soon realise that most of these add nothing. But there's one tape that catches your eye. The real-life Duck Season trailer. It appears on the TV right after level 1, telling you that whatever it is, it's important. Overall, the tape seems harmless, it's just an 80s commercial, but this is where you have to look deeper. For starters, look at how the family is presented. It's a single mother and her son, both blonde and lacking a father figure. Then when comparing this to David, the similarities are pretty undeniable. Is it a coincidence? Maybe. I mean, like 90% of Americans in the 80s look like this, but if it's not, this suggests something far deeper. It's out in the open so early. Someone wants you to know something. Nonetheless, you look around for the next thing to put your grubby little hands on. And, like every single 80s nostalgia piece, there are references. And this is best seen with the video games. Remember Paperboy? Well, here's Pizza Boy.
Can you launch hot pizzas at your customers? Drive your trusty hatchback. Load it with tightly packaged pizzas through a busy neighborhood. Score big points by tossing pizzas at your customers' houses. Try and watch out for the inconvenient obstacles such as pedestrians and animals. If you hit them, no big deal. We can pay them with pizza.
Ever fly an F-105 dropping bombs in Vietnam? No? Well, now you don't have to. Here's Whaling 1842.
The year is 1842. Your whaling team is scanning the high seas for organic biofuel known as whales. You must hunt these giant beasts in order to have the light back home so that the people of our country may read books in the evening.
And the least obvious, Final Fiesta 2.
The legendary party continues. A new evil threatens to shut it all down. Once more, our team of hero bros must stand against it. In a distant land, the party stirs. Every millennia, the world must be purged. But before the terrible night, the last great party is thrown on the eve before the end of the world. This great party commences. You and your band of bros must head out to save the world in eternal dance. The fiesta continues.
You can actually play most of these games too, though. Despite how fun pretending to be Keemstar is, it doesn't ultimately impact the game.
My dog just got killed.
You could keep looking around, but let's be honest, you probably have ADHD if you're playing this game, so for your sake, please go shoot some ducks. Like level 1, level 2 to 4 are practically identical. Even though it feels great exterminating a whole race of birds, you get bored very quick. So after looking at the same setting for 10 minutes, you decide to turn around. Behind you, you see yourself moving in tandem with your own movements. It's really off-putting. Mainly because when I played it, it looked like this.
Well, what the fuck do I know? I'm not a doctor.
What's worse is that both Duck Season and the real world share the same cat clock. Despite the terrifying reality that the game looks back at you, it's hard to comprehend. So you don't even bother, and you just finish the level.
Fucking ugly bitch. I'm gonna snatch you to death and play around with you.
Beating the levels and completing the game, you're now free to party and eat all the food the game provides you. Nothing bad happened, and it makes you wonder, why was that horror tag even on the store page? Well, this is ending 1 of 7. Final Fiesta.
Fiesta, fiesta, temporary fiesta!
Where nothing really happens and you kinda just go on with your life. And in the grand scheme of things, this is the best ending because nothing actually happens. This, however, cannot be said for the other endings. Heeding your mother's words at the end,
But you know, I would have shot that annoying dog.
you start the game again. But this time, instead of being a gay pussy, you shoot the dog. After all, smoking is a filthy habit. Might as well cut to the chase.
I'm gay, bitch.
Doing so, nothing seems to change, at least right now. It just gets a tad mad at you. But progressing through the game again, things are slightly different. Then things spiral even further, when shortly after videotaping you, a child, you are forced to face him at his own game.
Groovy.
You see, there are actually 2 outcomes here. If you have the aim of Dr. Witnesser, the dog will break through the glass and replace you in the real world, only to wake up decades later, face to face with another kid.
Who are you?
Giving you ending 2. Alternatively, if you 360 no-scope the dog in the game, you'll now have to defend your home from an unwanted visitor. Your mum still dies though, so still a miserable ending.
I save her because I should. Or because she's hot.
Despite this, it gets worse. During the home invasion, if you're not quick enough, the dog will kill you himself. Failing to kill the dog will give you a very confusing 4th ending. You're now looking down on the scene that just occurred from what seems to be the show stage. Interestingly, the dog still acknowledges your presence, telling us that whoever or whatever the dog is on the same level as you, the player. Anyway, if you feel inclined not to deal with any of this, you can just nuke the world. And that's another ending! Now, to achieve the next ending, you have to be something I'm sure most of you probably aren't. A responsible person. You know that saying that's usually on the wall of a bus stop? See it, say it's sorted? You just gotta do that.
911, what's your emergency?
And sure enough, he goes down like a bag of bricks.
Okay, we are getting word now that a press conference is right about to start. The chief of police is going to be speaking out about this
Okay, that's a
matter.
bit
Let's take you to
too
him live.
harsh.
I see he-
Congratulations! Completing all of these now lets you take on the last challenge of the game. Ending 7. Beating the game without shooting the dog once more, instead of celebrating with infinite pizza, you find a tape called It's Me. FNAF reference? Putting it in, you see the dog miming to you. Then, using your brain for once in your life, you can actually decipher what he means. You are my son. You come. Doing as he says, you find yourself back in the studio room. Cranking the music box, you find the dog controlling everything. He doesn't hurt you, he just doesn't want to be alone. Gesturing towards the crank, you help him reveal the game's credits. Now, coming back to the nuke ending, the world doesn't just end. The game does, and you're stuck there, and no matter how loud you call out, no one comes. Except one person. The dog. He hugs you, you're not alone, even if everything's gone. Initially, these endings point to the fact that the dog is your father, and there's actually quite a lot of evidence to support this. Namely, the family photos, one of which including a real-life photo of the family with the dog, confirming that David and his mum are the people in the advertisement. Moreover, the other photos show the father slowly drifting away, and using context clues hidden around the room, we can put together a story. The father finally made the team of his dreams, but soon after he was transferred away. This caused a major split in the marriage. Deemed too unfit for custody, he was forcefully removed from his son, leading him to be constantly yearning for a connection, with this anger eventually manifesting in the game. And looking what team he was in, the mascot was a dog, almost identical to the one that comforts you. Furthermore, by doing some really complicated Easter eggs, you can enter Bad Dad Bad Kid on a Luigi board and see suspiciously similar lightning. Except, I lied to you, and that's not true at all, and the reality is far less intriguing. Rather, the final ending is simply a direct nod to the Silent Hill 2 ending, with a very similar premise.
I am Yilongma, money Dogecoin.
To add to this, the previous things can be disproven pretty easily. For instance, the secret ending you get from the Ouija board states that
the accursed cryptid has finally been dealt with. Fear it no longer.
Pretty plainly stating that no, the dog is not your father, just a demonic entity with scary similarities to your dad. For example, instead of the Bad Dad Bad Kid Easter egg being in reference to the dog, what if it's just a hidden confirmation from the developers that the father was abusive? We can take this one step further and suggest that the dog isn't the father, but David's manifestation of the trauma he left him with. And this scene was David realizing that it's not his fault. Finally, letting the demon rest. Either way, this game can be taken in many different ways, and that's why it's so good. But ending it here feels unjust. You feel there's something missing. So you run it back one more time, and putting all your points into deception, you can find a very fun item that throws everything out of the window.
The official monthly magazine of the hit game console King Bit Force. Second annual GGG conference. Rate games galore. Check out our exclusive coverage from the show floor. Mail and vote for your favorite. Best of GGG. Also, in this issue, future RPGs. Easter eggs are everywhere.
You've probably realized by now, this isn't just a normal game. It's a game within a game within another game.
Fuck this.
Ignoring how tropey this is nowadays at least, for further context you must direct your attention to another hidden item, the Kid Wizard book. Located just on the right, you can find it shortly into the game, and picking it up, it's evident this isn't just a normal book. It's like the demon book in Terraria, but like, if it was whitewashed. Using it on the game magazine, you are teleported to a secret area, seemingly a dev room. Now this would be normal, as a lot of games do have dev rooms, but this is duck season, so of course it's more complicated. Just behind the dog you can see a list of things to complete, and doing so will reveal a giant clock. Looking closer, there's writing scribbled out on the ground that you can just barely read.
Hello, little one. 30 years waiting for someone to open a gate, and finally these fools decide to use the void way. These fools, these fools, these fools. Well, thank you for helping me with my rescue. I left a little gift, but you can't have it just yet. I'm adding some new hunting modes for your virtual bird hunting game and another surprise. But first, you must be patient. There are others coming, and we must wait for their arrival. See you on the other side. 9.
Following the paw prints, you can now see 3 doors that weren't there before. Door 1, Boneworks, Door 2, Dead FM, and Door 3, Machine King. Luckily, with hindsight, we know these doors represent games. The first one is the Boneworks engine from the game Boneworks, and the others are nowhere to be seen. Nonetheless, let's go back to what the cat actually told you. It mentions that whatever it is has been stuck here for 30 years, and someone has decided to finally use the Void Way. Though, considering they're called a fool, they're probably not good. But linking this to the doors, it's pretty obvious it's referring to the developers. The next thing this little interesting book can do is take you to a place I briefly discussed before. But getting there is a bit AIDS. Firstly, you throw the book at the cat, taking you to a odd room where you do a shrimple puzzle. Doing so, one of the cats now look down on you, this time with human eyes. Giving you a code, you now put the book onto the torch, bringing you to the Ouija board. The code is a bit tricky, so you try some other words.
It will be okay. You're fine. Oh. Soon enough. Now, live. Immortal.
Despite these answers being interesting, it's a bit boring, so you finally enter the deciphered code.
Bad dad, bad kid.
After hearing this, you are taken to yet another room. Inside is an endless void, though in front of you rests a monkey on a pedestal, with text above presumably spoken by the plush.
The accursed cryptid has finally been dealt with. Fear it no longer. Congratulations, Kid Wizard. You are the chosen one. Go now and rest. You've made it to the very end of the game.
Congratulating you, the monkey seems overly optimistic. It's weird. Around the room are a variety of other items and books, but none seem to do anything just yet. So, taking the book once more, you show your favourite little action figure your new book. Now tiny, with Slenderman arms, you can bee-hop around the house and find some scary things. Under the fridge lies a sheet of paper with a photo of the monkey, saying,
"Don't believe lies."
Moving to the next room beside where you usually play, you find another note, one giving further context to everything that's transpired.
Beware, the monkey and cat tricksters. Greater dangers await you beyond this world. I will contact you again in the next game. Look for my mark.
Reading this, it's obvious something's up. If you decide to trust the writing, it would mean that both the cat and the monkey have been lying to you, for reasons we don't know. But ignoring it would suggest there's a force out there trying to dissuade you from the truth, again for reasons we don't know. However, I've been hiding something from you, and it's proof that the voice is right. Backing the void of the monkey, beside the pedestal is a Necronomicon, and throwing it at the door, you find yourself in an alternative void. The floor's all bloody, and something seems to be attempting to contact you. See you next time. Now, apart from this being a weird Silent Hill-esque reality, at this point it feels like you're really getting somewhere, and the gore doesn't really affect you anymore. There's one more thing in the room. A card, showing you the entity. Now, to know what this means by actually playing the game, which I know you haven't because you're watching this video like a pussy, would mean you have to do a lot of things. For instance, you know that handprint on Freddy that ties some random kid being killed? If it was duck season, it would just be like some random guy's handprint, But like if they used a shrink ray from Despicable Me on it, and like he just did it for a joke or anything, no one was killed. But it's like really hard to find out. That's my point. So I'm gonna get this out really quick for you. Ready? Beat the game all 7 times. Throw the book onto the table. Do the same with the pumpkin. Beat the zombie mode and don't even ask. Throw all of the games and the banana onto the UFO box. Find all 4 cards. And do the same as you did before. Then finally, when it starts shooting lightning, use the Necronomicon on it. This will teleport you to another hidden room. But this one pretty much brings everything together. In front of you is a notepad with a conversation between 2 developers.
So this is how Gammon is accessing the Voidway? Seems kind of dangerous since they aren't securing the pathways. Could lead to actual material extraction.
No worse than us. At least they aren't piping the Voidway directly into people's cerebral cortex.
The consequences here are insane. You have to realize just how big of an impact this could have if anyone manages to bridge the device.
Of course they have. We would do the same. It was obvious they were entering. Can't think of any private companies besides, maybe Saber Lake that have crossed in.
Careful. They could be reading this comm. They have opened Pandora's box. If they have figured out serial item dumping, it is possible to extract even our secure channels.
This table won't cut it. But if they've managed to get here with a headset, Gammon could root through Boneworks into myth. I'll punch it now.
This chat log, like a YouTuber Discord, reveals some demons, most notably about the Voidway. After inventing a new VR technology capable of accessing the Voidway, they found demons waiting decades to finally have their chance to escape into the real world and be free. And you actually had a hand in this. By completing the secrets of the game, you released 9 and the monkey, and depending on what ending you get, you also released the dog. Looking closer at the note, you can see that they work for a company called Monogon Industries, the same company in Boneworks. On the right is the Mechanical King door, and on the floor reads the same text you saw in the Dark Void, meaning you used the Voidway to gain access to Stress Level Zero's future game, and that card, the entity, was set free into that project, probably by you. Nevertheless, there are a lot of things to take in here, and this is about where Duck Season's story ends, but this perfectly leads into the next game, Boneworks. You learn in Boneworks that the company Monogon was so jealous of Gammon's success that they supposedly reverse-engineered Duck Season, and doing so, found the Voidway. Monogon, seeing the potential, immediately created the game engine Boneworks built off the back of the Voidway. And though built to prevent normies from accessing this dimension, sometimes it happens like with Duck Season. In spite of this, as you play through the game, you soon realize that the Voidway may not be as secure as you think, because looking around, the entities from Duck Season have already found their way here. To end it off, I think Duck Season is a phenomenal game. The lore, while stupidly complex, is really well written. The mechanics are simple, but limiting enough to which it feels like you can't just cheat the game.
A stun, he can't use a stun.
I like how the entire game is literally on the first VHS you watch. I like how everything around you can be interacted with, for better or for worse. And as someone who personally gets very motion sick from prolonged VR sessions, I felt none of that with Duck Season. It's definitely a one-of-a-kind game, and as much as I shit on mascot horror, bro, I'm not age regressing. Duck Season is mascot horror done well, with lore confusing, but not convoluted. Without Duck Season, we wouldn't have Half-Life Alyx. And as much as I hate to admit it, FNAF Help Wanted is kinda cinema. So I appreciate Duck Season for paving the way for these games. And it's just a shame that people don't remember it along with them. Okay, that's about it. Thank you to everyone who did a cameo. If you liked this video, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that like button, you better do it, or I will kill you. Mr. Beast cookie moment. Subscribe, you'll get a cookie. You get a cookie, you get big chunk chocolate cookie. Join the Discord, be parasocial, and support me on Patreon. Yeah, bye.